you migrated from Pune to enter
Yes.
politics. What was the reason for that? आपको ऐसा क्या लगा कि what kind of dent were you looking to make in politics?
Oh, when I came from Pune.
Yeah.
So essentially, the nerve center of politics in India is Delhi.
Right.
And Pune is far off removed. I mean, Pune is a great place, great city for students especially. And but it is not the place to do national politics.
आप क्यों करना चाहते थे? आपके परिवार में
I
कोई
don't
politics
know.
में था?
Nobody in my family, not even from my community, the Khani Muslim community. Not much to do with politics, mostly to do with business. But from a young age, when I was in say the 5th or 6th standard, I mean I must have been 11 or 12. I lost my dad very early at the age of 5. But there was always a voice inside me about being in public space and contributing to public, not just discourse, but to take society forward in a way that I envision it. So I didn't know exactly how. It could have been media, it could have been something else. That I had not discovered or figured out. When I was around 14 or 15, obviously reading all the history textbooks and things like that, I was very inspired by the Congress because that's what you learn in textbooks in Maharashtra at least. And at that time there was Congress governments all over. So the impression was that the Congress party has done everything for the freedom struggle. So one was inspired to join a platform like Congress to serve the national cause. So I joined at the age of 14 or 15 and I joined the youth, the NSUI, which is the students wing, then graduated to the youth wing. So I worked for at least 7-8 years in those student and youth wing bodies. That had no interaction with the national.
आप क्या करते? You would like hold together operations. You would
Yeah,
like
that
give
would be
speeches.
raising students' issues.
हाँ.
So, मान लो college में somebody is complaining about fees, somebody is complaining about hostel condition, somebody is complaining about it's too expensive to get the papers re-verified, like the money you have to pay for re-verification, or the re-verification not been done properly. Basic student issues are whatever you imagine. Those issues.
आपने आपको लोगों के आसपास रैली क्या करा? I'm assuming.
Sorry?
आपने आपको उस टाइम पे लोगों के आसपास, how did you get people to rally around you at a time when you were, I'm assuming, I could be wrong, you're not the richest candidate. जैसे ऐसा होता है दिल्ली में इलेक्शंस लड़ते हैं NSUI ABVP के, तो अक्सर certain community के बड़े अमीर बंदे लड़ते हैं.
So it wasn't about fighting elections, it was about raising the issue and creating an awareness or creating a buzz about that issue and getting the issue solved. So now that maybe perhaps people saw some sincerity in the way I raised those issues. So youngsters or people, my peers, would join with me and I would get some kind of attention in the media or attention from the communities I was trying to, the student communities I was trying to work for. So that ways I progressed forward, and then I thought that okay, I'm doing this at the city level, but what can I do at the national level? So then what I would do is that while I was studying, every 3 or 4 months we would finish our exams and we'd have a 1 month break or 10, 15, 20 days break. So I would save up my pocket money and come to Delhi to stay here, and I would go on my own to 24 Akbar Road, which is the Congress headquarters,
Right.
and work there. I just
As a volunteer.
Yeah, just as a volunteer. I just landed up.
ऐसे पार्टी के बड़े लीडर के सामने ऑडियंस लाने की वो क्या अपॉर्चुनिटी होती है कि क्या वो सामने आ रहे हैं लीडर, इनसे मिलने कि हमने भी काम करा है जी, हमसे बात कर लो?
Actually, the way to approach that, and I tell young people who come to me also, I tell them identify what your skill is. Identify what it. There's no point in going and just standing there and aimlessly trying to grab somebody's attention. At that point of time, I had figured that I had the gift of good writing, research, and articulating. So when I went to the Congress office, and at that time also the Congress office was terrible at communications, which they continue to be terrible at communications. So I went to the media department and I told them that I can help you out in terms of writing better press releases.
Right.
And doing your media, very, the clerical work of the media department. So they said, okay.
मुफ्त में.
उनको क्या फ़र्क पड़ रहा है? Ironically, the guy who kind of took me along was the secretary of the media department of AICC, a guy called Tom Vadakkan, who now is in the BJP. He's the spokesperson with me in the BJP. So that's where I started. Then I started working with Manish Tiwari for a brief while. Then I did some assignments for Congress. So Congress realized कि बंदे में talent तो है और मुफ्त में है. So then other leaders also, because my nature towards people in general is okay. So they also thought ke chalo we should make use of him. So I got opportunities one-to-one from many leaders like Rajiv Shukla. I was OSD to Rajiv Shukla. Yeah. He was a minister in the he was a minister of state for planning and parliamentary affairs. So Rajiv Shukla, let me tell you, he's still I consider him to still be a good friend of mine, and he also is very warm to me. Rajiv Shukla is somebody I learned lots from, and he's a terrific human being. I mean, he's in the Congress, but he's a terrific human being, and he's so the way he's come from journalism himself and now into politics, but he's also in cricket administration. He's got great connect with all these Bollywood stars. The way he manages people, their egos, the way he used to manage parliament at that time. And you would not, I mean, many people would think of him, look at him and then not think that, they would have a very different opinion of him. But the efficiency he has, or the network he has, or the connect he has, and knowledge he has, the depth of knowledge he has, is astounding. So I worked with him. So he was like an encyclopedia in politics.
कितने साल के थे आप उनके OSD थे?
I must say 21, 22.
That's it?
Yeah.
You were OSD at that age?
Yeah.
OSDs late बनते हैं, like
I was like one of the youngest. Yeah. One of the youngest at that time.
अच्छा फिर उसके बाद, see, obviously you're a kid, right? So you've got all these like impulses and drives. You open your mouth way too much for your own good. You don't know when to speak and when to like obey and all of that. ये सब ट्रेनिंग कहाँ से करनी शुरू करी कि यार कब बोलना है कब नहीं बोलना, किस आदमी के सामने कैसे बात करनी है? कोई पेट से तो सिखा के आता नहीं है कोई?
नहीं वो तो that is life. You keep learning from the mistakes you make and things like that, and obviously you get better at it with age. You get more mature at it with age, and then you realize that not everything has to be said or done or portrayed at that point of time. So that obviously you learn much later. But at that point of time, I paid a hefty price for it.
How so?
Because, see, what happens is that Congress is such an insecure place, right from the leadership to everybody. So a lot of people, because I was young, articulate, spoke well, etc., and I had made my mark in the media department, I had made my mark in media also, because people would invite me as a panelist, not as a spokesperson.
In your early 20s?
Yeah, 23, 24. So I'm doing TV debates for a very long period of time. I've also, in the middle, I was even an anchor of my own show, etc.
Really?
I'll tell you about that also. So when I would go on television, etc., some people spotted that he has talent, why don't we make him a national spokesperson of our party? He's in the Congress. So they even called me for training. They knew I was strong on social media back then itself. Social media was just emerging. It was the Anna movement that was happening.
क्या आप कौन से social media पे dominant थे? Facebook पे?
Mostly Facebook. At that time there was Facebook only.
क्या वो हिंदी में लंबी चौड़ी पोस्ट लिखते थे देश के राजनीति के बारे में?
लंबी चौड़ी पोस्ट नहीं. At that time also I used to basically put out, certain posts in a way that would catch attention.
Yeah.
Not just text, but it would be pictures also. It depends. I don't remember exactly now what I used to do.
No, but tell me about those early days of like trying to be viral. ये तो social media वाली चीज़ है.
Well, I remember I became viral once when I had called out the Anna movement on a television show. And then even at that time on YouTube it had gone quite viral. That I said that this movement was nothing but as Ambedkar ji defined it, as the grammar of anarchy and stuff like that. Basically I called it out that this movement is not going to live up to its ideals.
And it not, sadly.
And how?
Yeah.
So I think those clips went viral on YouTube, and then I don't remember if I used to put those clips on Facebook. Maybe I did, or at least I would send them to people through WhatsApp. WhatsApp had just started, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Or through other means, through email also sometimes.
Yeah, you would email people your stuff?
Yeah, because emails were the way to communicate at that time. So people would see it, people recognize. So some people wanted me to become the national spokesperson of Congress. And at that time, because I had talent and stuff, people within the Congress cut me off. And badly. They would be not just cut me off in the party, but they would call up news channels, and they were influential people. They'd call up news channels and tell them that don't get this guy on the panel. Like, imagine if somebody called you up and told you that don't do a podcast with him. And you had to cow down to it because, otherwise you don't get other guests. So obviously you're going to be like, chalo, why would I risk it?
If you can't watch a full podcast, watch a clip instead. You'll be as entertained and as informed. That's my guarantee. That's why you gotta subscribe to Dostcast Clips.